Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here tonight to chat just a little bit. How are you guys doing? It's been a wonderful Sunday evening and I'm just chilling at home tonight. I think we're going to get a little bit of rain in our part of the woods and it's been a real nice relaxing evening. I've been sitting here listening to a little bit of Pandora, listening to some nice chillaxing jazz and just having a good time. Today's video is just going to be about a lot of different things. It's a chit chat, talk about self-love. We're going to talk about being able to say no and being introverted, or what I am called an ambivert. And so I just wanted to come on and just talk about a few things today. Hope you all like this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate all you guys for subscribing to my channel, for tuning in, and if you want to get more videos like this, please like and subscribe. Hit that little bell so that you will get notifications as to when I upload new videos. But just want to talk a little bit about excuse me, about self-love, loving yourself. You know, I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with. You know, I did for a number of years, loving myself just for the way that I am. I think in today's society, there's so much peer pressure. It is. I mean, guys, it is. Y'all know it is. Y'all know that the peer pressure is real. You know, to be like everybody else, to have certain styles, to dress the way everybody dress. You got to have a certain educational level. You know, have you ever noticed that people treat you different if you're not on a certain status in life? You know, I'm privy to have, I would say, people in my circle, you know, that I consider to be great friends that are pretty much, you know, diverse, you know, as far as their levels. And when I say levels, I'm not trying to put anybody above anybody, but I'm saying as far as, you know, their status, their income means, you know, whether they're entrepreneurs or they're professional people that have masters and doctorates, or they could be hardworking people. I've been blessed to have that circle in, you know, that kind of friends, those types of friends in my circle. And for the most part, thankfully, you know, we all treat each other the same. We all are very respectful of each other. But sometimes you run into people and you meet people, and I do this in my workplace, where I worship, that in order to be accepted or treated equally, you have to be of a certain social status or financial status. You know what I'm talking about, right? And a lot of times people feel that they're not as equal. You know, if they're, you know, not treated that way or they're not accepted, you know, you feel like you have to present yourself in a certain way. And I think that is why a lot of people fabricate their social and economical statuses, you know, because they try to fit in. They try to make people feel that they're somewhere they're not. And I do know people like that. I know people who stretch their means beyond the limits to try to fit into what they feel society would want them to be, or to be accepted by their peers. So they try to go out and run and buy, you know, the most expensive cars. They try to dress in the most trendy fashions, whether it's designer clothes, you know. And I have to say that I've been blessed that I've never got really caught up in that trend. I wanted to be accepted, you know, by people, you know, but I think living and getting older teaches you about loving yourself and wanting the people to be in your life that accept you for who you are, that you will not try to rise above your means to be able to say that you have certain friends, or, you know, you can go to certain functions, because, you know, I think it's kind of discriminatory when people have organizations that say that you have to have a graduate degree, or, you know, you have to be on that status, doctorate or something like that, or PhD, to be able to be a part of a certain organization. I feel that if everybody has a talent, if everybody's willing to get in there and work, that it shouldn't be that you have to hold a certain position in life in order to be accepted. And but if you get caught up in that life, you will be caught up, you know. So you got to learn to love yourself wherever you are in life. You know, if you're a hardworking artist, writer, or if you are by trade a labor worker, factory worker, or starting out, you're doing retail, whatever it is, you got to learn to love yourself and hold your head up, be proud of who you are, and not worry about if people don't accept you in those circles. I think that the longer you live, it's easier to say these things, because when we're young, we're so impressionable by our peers. We want to fit in. But the reason for me saying this is that I would hope that I can, prick some knowledge into some people that are younger than I, to realize that you don't have to work that hard. You don't have to go out of your way to try to fit in these groups and things, because truly, if you have to do that, that's not something you really probably want to be a part of. So that's just my thoughts, and it's just sad, but it happens. It happens, and it's unfortunate, but you just got to learn to love where you are. I love everything about myself. It may not be the same as somebody else's. I may look different. I may not be viewed on the majority as being as beautiful or as successful as the next person. But for me, to be able to say that I stand on my own 2 feet, that I work hard, that I have great ethics and convictions and morals and values, that makes me, in my opinion, on that status. So that's just my opinion. I also wanted to talk about just being introverted. There's a lot of introverted people here. They function in society just like extroverts. And I consider myself to be an ambivert. I actually ran across that term, that word, and I looked up the terminology for it. And because I was like, what is an ambivert? And an ambivert is a person that can have some extroverted tendencies. And what I mean by that is you can function, and thrive in groups of people. But a lot of times introverted people, they love their time alone. And I am one of those people. I love my time alone. You guys, I don't have company. I do not have company. I don't want company. I'd rather go out and mingle with people than to bring people in my home and feel the social pressures of having to entertain them. That's not something I want to do. I do occasionally have, one of my children or one girlfriend that will come and spend some time with me. But to have a dinner party, it's just not something I want to do. And I prefer smaller groups of people versus large groups of people. A lot of times when you go to concerts and shows or whatever, you're in these big groups of people, and I tend to be the person that kind of migrates over to the side. I don't want to be in the groups just mixing and mingling and all of that. I'd rather have a small group of people, maybe 5 to maybe 10 people over here that I'm just actually interacting with, and that be what I do. That is just me. We tend to be very socially drained people. I can be overwhelmed in large groups of people. So, I need my time for a break. When I go to work, my days sometimes are long and stressful. So I need quiet time. I need time to come home, relax, and regroup, and that is my quiet time. I don't answer my phone. If I've been overwhelmed at work, I don't. I don't want to talk to nobody, and a lot of times I have friends that get very offended by that, because they'll say, I called you or I text you and you return my call. But those are my times to be able to just regroup. Sometimes I have really overwhelmed myself with work, because I work in a very customer friendly atmosphere. So I'm dealing with people all day long. People are in my face all day long. I work in the banking industry, and you're just constantly, you're talking to people about their accounts and opening accounts and all day long. That's what you're doing. And so by the end of the day, after that 9 to 5 or whatever schedule you work, I am like socially drained. I'm like, I need some time for me to just pull it all back in, and so that is my time to sit down. I usually get me a glass of wine or, if it's not even wine, you know, just sit down, put on some music. I love jazz. Jazz is my all-time favorite music of choice. And I just sit down, light some candles, I turn my lights off, and I just relax. And a lot of times I just put my phone on vibrate, or I put it on silence, and I do not answer my phone because I just don't want to. And I don't feel that I should have to explain it to people. That is my time. And once I get myself regrouped, then I'm ready to tackle the world again, you know, and it's okay. And even if you are just an introverted person where you don't really like social activity like that at all, or being amongst groups of people, and it's okay. You know, my brother is an introvert. He has always done everything alone. You know, he was just that person. But when he has to be with people, he will do it, you know, and people have to accept you for that. You have to embrace who you are. For a long time, I denied who I was, you know, and that's who I am. And I am not going to change for anybody. People who get to know me know that I'm a very friendly person, you know, that I will socialize. I love doing things in the community. I love giving back. I love reaching out and helping people. But just as equally, I love my time. I love my social time alone. I can take myself to dinner. I can take myself to eat. I can do all of those things. I can take a trip by myself. You know, I love the beach, you know, and introverted people a lot of times do like the nature. They like nature. They like water and things of that, you know, capacity. They like being alone and reading, and those are very enjoyable, guys. And I know a lot of people are like, how do you just enjoy yourself being alone? It's just what it is. And I don't feel the need to explain that to people all the time, you know. If I am ever in a relationship, which I doubt, because I really don't feel that I meet people that understand me on that level, you know, and I sometimes get overwhelmed with having to explain that, you know, I am who I am. And I will never feel that I have to change or be something different so that someone will like me, you know. Excuse me, I have my cucumber mint water here, guys. I'm on a detox for this month, and it's a 30-day challenge to drink only water as your fluids. And so it was difficult because, guys, I'm a coffee drinker. You guys know that from my coffee breaks. So but it's good to be able to get that, you know, amount of water that you need, and to actually flush your system, because it flushes your kidneys, your bladders. It helps your digestive system and all of that. But anyway, I'm getting off track. But just wanted to say that, and in saying being introverted or ambivert, there is a problem of saying no. You know, a lot of times we don't want to disappoint people, you know, and sometimes you don't feel like doing things. You know, when people ask you to do stuff, sometimes, you know, sometimes it's great to do it, but sometimes, you know, it's something you really don't want to participate in, and you're afraid to say no, so you avoid people, or you wait to the last minute to say, I don't want to do this. You know, I had to learn, because I used to find myself very overwhelmed with things that people wanted me to do, or places they wanted me to go, and I just did not want to go. And I had to accept the fact that sometimes you will disappoint people. People will, you know, ask you to do things, and, you know, sometimes you know that that's not something you absolutely don't want to do, you know, and you got to be okay with disappointing people, or having people get upset with you because it's something that you don't necessarily want to do. You know, if I don't want to do something, guys, I'm just going to say it, you know. I feel like, you know, as an individual, I have that right. You know, I don't, you know, impose my time or things that I want to do on other people. And I also know that there's the potential of someone telling me no if I ask them to do something. That's just a part of life, you know. Saying no is a part of life. Saying no is a part of life, you know, guys. So don't feel that you have to always entertain other people's ideas or suggestions or whatever. You know, if you feel that it's something that don't fit into your lifestyle or something that you just absolutely do not want to do, you could just tell them no. You know, you don't really owe anybody explanation, but if you want to, you know, you can just tell them, this is not something I really feel that I want to do. This is not something that I like. And just be okay with that, guys. You know, it's nothing wrong with that. And I think growing older and maturing kind of builds that confidence in yourself that you are right with being able to speak your mind and say the things that you want to do or say what you like, and not worry about whether or not you're disappointing people because you're not fitting into what they want you to be. You know, a lot of times that's even in the dating scene. You know, I have some great friends, and a lot of times people want to match me up with them, and they'll tell me, oh girl, he's just a great guy. I don't understand why you don't like him. It's not that I don't like him, but everyone has their own individual idea of who they, you know, like, or they're attracted to, or who's right for them, you know. And a lot of times I don't even think about it on that level, but sometimes I get so overwhelmed with people saying, you're gonna fool around and miss out on him if somebody else is gonna want him. Well, if that is the case, then somebody else will. But I always say that God will speak to me when that person is the person for me, you know. So therefore I can say no to that. I can tell them, no, I'm not interested in dating this person, you know, on more than, you know, a friendly manner. I'm not interested in taking it any further. It is nothing wrong with that. You know, and people can make you feel so guilty. They'll try to make you feel like you're being wrong because you're not interested in someone the way that they may be interested in you. And one of the things that I always do is I'm very honest. I'm very honest about my feelings with people. I'm very straightforward about where I stand with people. So there's not a person that hang out with me that would ever feel that I have not been that I'm not straightforward, and that I don't make sure they know where we stand. So therefore, I feel that when I'm hanging with people, that our friendship is that. It is friendship. And that, you know, they can't take it any further than that. They can't make that into a relationship, you know. And but if they seem to feel that it was more than that, I don't have a problem with saying, I'm sorry that you misunderstood. But I don't feel that that would happen to me, so I'm not going to even go there, because I'm very clear. I don't send mixed signals. I don't, you know, do any of that. But being able to tell people, no, this is not the right time for me. No, this is not the right relationship for me. Because truly, you know, if you know who you are, you know what your standards are, you know what you require in life, you know, not only on a physical level, intellectually, you know, spiritually, most of all, there has to be a match. And I feel that when all of those things align, you know, God will say, open your eyes, girl, look in front of you, you know. And until that time, you know, I don't feel that I should have to explain that to people. I can just tell them no. So that is all I want to talk about today, guys. Just a little chit chat, and you know, just give you some ideas of some things to think about. Just think about those things. And I'm actually speaking to a lot of my younger women who have trouble with those three things. You know, a lot of times it is a problem. You know, if you're a very highly sensitive person like me, you know, you're very in tune to people's feelings, because sometimes I feel like I'm a very highly sensitive person, which some people call as an empath. I can feel people's feelings and sense where they are, and you know, what they're feeling. And I don't a lot of times want to hurt people, but I know that being honest is the best way to be with someone, rather than, you know, just dragging it out, knowing you know how you feel and things that you need to say. You know, I think people respect you more when you can be honest about yourself, and you can stand in front of someone and just be transparent and say, hey, this is how I feel, this is what I want to do, no, I don't want to do that, you know, or I don't, you know, really like these particular type of activities. You have to just be totally honest with yourself. But you can only do that if you love yourself. So I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. I will be back with you guys in a couple of weeks. I got to do some updates for you guys. And thanks again for following me. Don't forget to, as my granddaughter would want me to say, like and subscribe. And I'll get back with you guys at another time.